One of the first change projects that I worked on was when I was working as a professional services manager. So I was in charge of the customer installs, and I was also kind of the go-between with customers and our development team. Now, at the time, I was using 3 different systems to manage the work. So the work for the implementation team was managed in one system, customer support in another, and then obviously the development stuff was in another system. And this was creating a real problem for me. I wasn't sure if it was creating a problem for anyone else, but a change I wanted to introduce was bringing in one system where all of that information could live in the same spot. Now, this was a smaller organization, so I thought I could get away with that, and I didn't really know how to do it. I didn't come from a change background. I wasn't exactly sure how to implement this change, and what I did was I thought, well, why don't I just buy everybody lunch? Let's go in the meeting room and let's talk about the problem that I have and see if anyone sees the problem the same way and who would be willing to help out with it. Now, long story short, yes, it made sense to the development team, the implementation team, and the customer support team to consolidate that stuff into one system as well, because many of them were having the same problem where things would kind of get out of sync. So that was really my first experience with change, and that really laid the foundation for how I approach change management. Hi everybody, I'm Jason Little, the author of Change Agility, and welcome to the Introduction to Agile Change Management. Now, it's kind of difficult to use that term Agile Change Management because coming from an Agile background and being involved with Agile transformations and working in Agile organizations really since the early 2000s, change is built into Agile. But now that it's becoming more popular outside of IT, many different groups such as sales and marketing and change managers and learning and development folks in HR are trying to figure out how do we use this Agile stuff in our context. So in this course, I'm going to go through a few things that will hopefully help set the foundation for you for what Agile change management really is. The first module is Introduction to Change Agility, and this will be based on my book, Change Agility, and it really demystifies that phrase. What exactly is change agility? And we'll look a little bit at the Agile Manifesto because that's how everything got started, and it's very important to consider the Agile values and principles when it comes to shifting your approach to change management from the old traditional step-by-step linear or waterfall approach, as some people call it, to a more modern feedback-driven approach that's based on Agile. The second module will dive deeper into the 12 Agile principles because those are often forgotten. People will start with the 4 values of the Agile Manifesto and they'll forget about the Agile 12 principles and then also write them off that because they were written in a software context, we can't use them outside of software. So we'll dive into what those 12 principles are and how you can adapt them to change management. Module 3 is about shifting your thinking about how to approach change management. Now, I'm very hesitant to use the mindset word because I find when people use that word, sometimes they use it as a weapon, meaning I have the right mindset, all of you have the wrong mindset, and you have to change your mindsets. So we're going to look at some of the common things about change management, like how to get buy-in, how to deal with resistance, and how we can shift our thinking away from some of those old ideas and more towards how we can use the Agile values and principles to change the lenses that we look through when it comes to facilitating change. The fourth module is about making it real. So don't be worried if the title Minimum Viable Change Framework sounds a little buzzwordy or a little unclear. What we're really going to get into there is how do you find the right amount of process to use in your approach to change. If you're building a space shuttle, you probably need a little more process. If you're building a music player or a mobile app, you probably need a lot less. So this module is going to help you find the sweet spot. Finally, I'll share some case studies and stories. I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel to 11 or 12 different countries over the last decade plus, and I've collected many stories about people who are using these approaches to change. And a small spoiler alert, you don't have to completely throw out the way you do change now. There's a lot of little things and small tweaks that you can do to get the most of all of the ideas that I'm going to share with you throughout this course.